Good day, everybody. Welcome back to Electric Cafe. Today's video is an album review, an electronic album review of the Black Dog, and the album is called, I always forget the album, Temple of Transparent Balls from 1993. I think this was on GPR Records, I believe. GPR, or was it Warp? I think it's GPR. I always forget. Here's the original album right here. I didn't bring my glasses today, but so for those that don't know, Black Dog was. I want to get my notes here so I don't miss their names, but originally it was Ken Downey, Ed Hanley, and Andy Turner, also known as Black Dog Productions. So yeah, this album came in 1993, and it was on GPR Records, General Production Recordings out of the UK, and yeah, this is a very important electronic act that's still going. Ed and Andy left shortly after this album, probably around '96, a couple years later, and or maybe '95, and and started Plaid, which had a lot of success under the Warp label. Black Dog has still continued to really do a lot of strong stuff. They disappeared for a few years, probably in like '97, kind of did some side projects, and then sort of came back in 2004. And then for the last 20 years, they've put out quite a bit. I'm definitely going to do an overview of their music. I have quite a bit of their music, but over the last maybe like 7 years or so, I need to kind of catch up and fill in some gaps with some of their new stuff. But I do have some of their, maybe I have their album from like 2 or 3 years ago, but they put out almost an album and an EP like every year for the last like 10 years, so, or maybe even 20 years, because they've been really busy. And that's so Ken Downey and Martin Dust are now Black Dog. This is the original CD right here as well. A lot of times Black Dog gets kind of tied into the IDM, sound, and that was kind of, along with like Aphex Twin and Autech and B12 and a lot of their names was kind of and it was post rave 92, 93. Like they started to kind of have chill out and kind of mix like techno and ambient, and it became known as IDM. And I really feel that there's really two different types of IDM. There's this IDM, which is more ambient techno, and then there's IDM, which really evolved into IDM, which is kind of your Autech, your Prom, your Bola, your Aerovane, which is more maybe the '94 to like 2005 sound, which is more the skittery beats and stuff like that. And I feel like if it doesn't have the skittery beats, it's more ambient techno, and this is more ambient techno. There's a couple of skittery beats that sound like Aphex Twin, but for the most part, and this is the early time, so definitely around after this, it even separates even more so between like the ambient techno and IDM. When you think of like, if you guys know like As One, I always forget how to pronounce his name. Kirk DeGregio. He goes also as One, but a lot of that time, and that's what I call like there's like a UK version of Detroit techno, and that's kind of tied to ambient techno as well. And that's your Steve Rockmid, your Sim, your Derek Carr, your uh, Future Beat Alliance, Stassi's, Mike Golding, stuff like that. If you know any of those people, um, I might be just talking out of my ass about people that you have no idea about, but check out Black Dog, um, what was it? The Temple Balls? Temple of Transparent Balls. I always forget that name. I don't know why. But yeah, let's review the album here. The first track is called Cost One. it's a cool beat, some futuristic sounds, nice pace. Nothing unique really, but the use of the sounds in the program makes it more. Especially if you're into like vintage sound. Like I think '93 and '94 is some of my favorite years of analog, ambient, chill out, techno, trance. It's one of my favorite years. I really like some of the hardcore from there. I like some of the jungle. Um, drum and bass was just coming out sort of in '93. Chill out was, Cafe Del Mar scene was happening. Basic Channel started, so a lot of dub techno was just starting up. So just a great year in techno music. And in some ways, like '92, '93 was like the first year of all the really subgenres really that came out of post rave music. And I really like a lot of those styles. And so if you like those kind of sounds, then you'll certainly like this album. But I got the opener, cost one. I got 2 stars. It's a good track. Cost two. Great spacey sounds. The way the spacey sounds kind of turn into a rhythm is awesome. It's just beautiful ambient techno. The melody, it's whimsical. It's got that classy UK Detroit melody. And the difference between, in my opinion, the difference of UK's version of Detroit melodies is they're a little bit more whimsical, and I wouldn't say playful, but a little bit more whimsical, a little bit, sometimes a little bit sadder, but I think is a little bit more beautiful. And where the Detroit melodies are a little bit more post-apocalyptic, dystopian. People always say those terms, Detroit melodies, but sometimes more dramatic and more, uh, more sci-fi in some ways. But the UK version and the Netherlands version of Detroit melodies are a little bit more whimsical and a little bit more moody. I really like that. And if you know the difference, I would appreciate, you know, your thoughts on that, especially if you guys know like Future Beat Alliance or As One or Black Dog. Um, Love the deep bass line. The melody opening up without the beat is excellent. There's a break in the middle where the beat drops out. That melody in there is it's beautiful. It's my favorite song on the album. I got a 4 1/4 songs. Super strong song. Awesome song. Next track, track three. It's called 478. It's got a nice open, cool bass line. This one has an IDM rhythm pattern to it. It's kind of has some celestial sounds and a cool groove. Really strong song as well. 3 3/4 songs. 3 3/4 stars. Really strong song. Track four, the actor and the audience. This one's a little faster, good melody. Has some like robots sort of sounds in it. It's a little bit manic, but it has some cool sounds in the rhythm and it works. And the melody really kind of ties it together and kind of the atmosphere. And I got 3.5 stars. Then there's a track number five. It's called Jupiler. Jupiler. I'm not sure what that means. Um, it has some deep beats. It's got like a 808 bass drum, which is cool. That's so missed in a lot of music these days is that 808 deep bass. It's so important and it's crazy how it's kind of vanished a lot from techno music especially and even in electro. Um, it has some 808 love on here, but it still sounds a little dated. It kind of sounds like a bad version of 808 State. Like it's not really quite there, and I think for '93 it even sounds probably a little dated. I was thinking like 808 State being like the prime of their career, like 89 to like 92, and it's already '93, and it kind of sounds like 808 State. It's okay. I got it 1 star. Um, Kings of Sparta. This actually sounds like As One, aka Kirk DeGreggy. Really nice melody. It has that whimsical melody. Excuse me. Bass line's very good. It's a nice little ambient piece, but it's a little bit more than an ambient piece. It's got a rhythm in here. It's like 4.5 minutes. Excuse me. But after a couple listens, it really grows on you a lot. At first, you're kind of like, oh, does it really do too much? But it is kind of a nice, cohesive track, and it's nice that it's kind of on the shorter side. versus kind of dragging it out. For things like 4 minutes and 20 seconds, something like that. 4 minutes 15. But I got three and three quarter songs. I got 3 and 3/4 stars. It's tied for my second favorite on the album. Really I really like the melody on it. At first, when I was going through it, because it's been a while since I heard this album, I think the first time I heard this album was probably like somewhere in the late 90s. I think I got a copy of this probably in like 2001. And then later on, I finally got another copy of the CD because my original copy, I think got misplaced or something like that. I lost it somewhere along the way, unfortunately. But it was nice, happy to get a second copy for inexpensive. But when I bought this in 2001, it was probably like $20, but now it's really nice condition record too. It's nice too because they have the poly sleeves on it, so these still look almost brand new. Besides if you felt them coming out of the sleeve and you looked at these, like I really, I really take care of my records. This is definitely almost near mint. Definitely easily VG. Really solid copy. I don't play that very often because I used to play the CD. Just a beautiful, beautiful kept one. I think it came with a. The cover is okay. It's probably VG plus. It's got a little bit of dinged corners, around the corners, a little bit of crease on the corner here, but pretty good condition overall for a 31-year-old record. That's not ideally the best made. Some of these, you can see some of this. Some of this cardboard from the time on these albums are. This almost feels like recycled cardboard. It's kind of on the softer side. It feels like another 30, 50 years that it might degrade just as it is without touching it. It's not necessarily the hardest cardboard material. Um, yeah, but now copies go for like 60 to 80 bucks. Maybe even more if it's nice as my copy of the records are. But I don't think this has still been reissued. And now the CDs um, are going for more money. Um, what else? What else? Track 7, Sharp Shooting on Saturn. Melody part is really cool. Background keys are really nice. This one is actually very Aphex Twin like. Some good melodies. The beat and the groove are sort of working, but they don't work together. It's kind of odd. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of a Detroit melody. It comes out near the end. This is really close to being very good, but not quite there yet. I have it 2 and 3/4 songs, 2 and 3/4 stars. And then I have the track number 8. This is where the album gets a little confusing. 3 of the last 4 songs aren't very good, unfortunately, and it really hurts the album. Track number 8 is called Mango. It doesn't do much for me at all. Like I don't understand it. I don't think it. I think it's out of place. It's not good, even in a vintage way, because the equipment, of course, sounds, but none of it sounds good. It's just the rhythm. It's just a fast rhythm. It's not. It's like 5 minutes and some change. It just doesn't do anything for me. I have it 0 stars. I just couldn't think of anything that would give it any merit. Except for being old. and not a good album, right? Then I have Cycle again. Uh, it's the most straightforward techno song for the album. The Detroit strings are okay. I got a half star. Doesn't really do anything for me. I mean, it's not even okay. It's really disappointing. And then track 2, in the light of gray. Awesome production, very Aphex Twin. Also some cool sounds. Got 3 stars, very good. And then the last track, the Crete made, it's kind of strange. It's kind of unique. It's kind of average. I got 1.5 stars. I got it in between okay and good. So just a really interesting ending. Just lacking in quality at the end there. Just really kind of killed the album. What was going really good. the good on the album. Some very good songs, great vibe, great. I really like the raw production of it. It's very of the year 1993. But when I think of the bad, it's just those bad songs. When I look at the overall, so you have one 4-star track, four 3 stars. So you got five very good to excellent songs, and then you got six that are good to horrible. Well, I don't know if zero's horrible on my scale. I don't give it very often, but maybe it's a non-rating or it's just not good, way below average. I wouldn't say it's horrible, but it's just not. I tend to have a higher rating scale. I'm not going to be rating any Backstreet Boys here, So there's no reason for me to have like a half star unless it's really subpar, But I don't hate any of this stuff. I'm not going to immediately fast forward it like I couldn't listen to it like I'm playing All Saints or something. But yeah, just some really poor songs that are just very below average for them. It really hurts the album. And here's a great point, right? So I add up the stars, right? It's 26 stars divided by 11 is a 2.36. So it's in between my good rating and very good, right? A little bit lower because, you know, okay is, sorry, 2 is good and 3 is very good. So it's right in between good and very good. But just a touch below, 2.36 per song. If you take out those 3 tracks, or actually take out the 4th track as well, because there's one, I forgot I don't know if I remember Jupiler. I had it 1 star. Oh, yeah, it was okay. Yeah, so if you take out that track and then 3 of the 4 last tracks, take out those and you average that by 7 stars, the remaining stars, it's a 3.42. So in between very good and excellent. So I mean, man, just take out those 4 tracks, but you could probably say that about a lot of albums. That's the thing is like, you know, take out the worst 4 tracks and how good is an album? A lot of albums are going to be very good into excellent, right? So I still got to rate it out as it is, but it's just really disappointing that 3 songs especially, and really 2. I mean, one's okay and one's in between okay and good, but 2 are under a star. Like you just take out those 2, and it would be a lot better album. So it's just kind of disappointing. So I got the overall for Temple of Transparent Balls by the Black Dog from 1993. I have it 68 out of 100. And I really bumped it up a little bit considering those really poor tracks. Because if I divide it and average the stars per track, it's closer to being like right, it's 60, 63, 64. So I pumped it up to 68 just because I feel like some of the highs are, there's some, I mean, there's 5 songs that are very good and above, so I feel like it's, 5 of the songs are above 70. If I had to compare those, because I'm saying, on my rating scale, anything above 3 stars is very good. My album score is 70 for very good and above. So 5 of the tracks are very good. So almost a half of the album is very good. So I got it really close to very good. 68 out of 100. What can you say? But anyways, it's still a memorable album. Just kind of disappointing in some respect on a few tracks. That really hurts it. But yeah, just curious if you know this album, if you like this album. Do you like Black Dog, or do you have a favorite album of theirs? All right, thanks a lot for watching.